Hey guys, Sean Phillips here with my brand new weight loss journey video talking about how I completed my weight loss journey. Yes, that's right, guys. I have now officially completed my weight loss journey. I'm now under 200 pounds. If you guys don't know, my original starting weight was 456 pounds. That was back in June of 2014, and that was my heaviest weight of all time, the heaviest I was. Things were going pretty bad. I was having some health issues at that point. But in this video, I'm going to talk to you guys basically about the entire journey, how it started, what made me decide to do this, how I did it, what my diet was like, what my exercise was like, what I did, and you guys too who were interested in doing this as well, you can kind of just sort of copy it, what I do. Of course, talk to your doctor as well. Tell them about what if how you're going to do this and ideas that you have, and if you want to do some of the things that I did. But of course, you got to talk to a doctor first too to make sure that what I did is okay for you, because I checked with my doctor before I did the calories that I was eating and all that stuff to make sure he thought that that was okay for me with what I was doing. But you guys can check with them as well. But this is going to be me talking about the entire journey. But, the thing that's interesting about the weight now to be at 199 pounds is, I weighed back when I was 11 years old. I had found a chart that showed my original weight at 11 years old. I was 177 pounds. So to be so, so close to what I was when I was 11 years old, because if you count, take out the extra skin weight and all that kind of stuff, it's pretty much the same weight that I was at 11 years old when I was like 5'10" or 5'8", something like that. I'm 6'2" now, those people who are wondering my height. But in this video, I'm going to talk to you basically about the whole journey. One thing I want to say too is thanks so much, guys, for all the support throughout this journey, all the positive comments. The last picture I put up of me showing the scale and the before and after about how I got to 199 pounds, it got shared all over the place. It had like 9,000 likes. So I cannot believe how much you guys shared that around. I seriously, appreciate more than you guys can imagine the support throughout this entire journey, the positive words, and also you guys out there too who have asked me, how I've been doing it. I'm so happy to help you guys and to see so many of you guys out there who have been trying to lose weight as well, from seeing my videos, from seeing Wet Movie One, Brendan Mitchell's videos as well. If you guys haven't seen his videos, check out his videos as well. We've lost pretty much about the same exact weight. We've been doing it the same exact time. We both started in June 2014. I think he actually started a little bit before, but I started June 2014. Basically, though, what ended up happening to make me decide to lose the weight was I have always been extremely overweight. Ever since I was, like I said, the weight at 11 years old, I was overweight. Very overweight. I remember going to the doctors. The doctors were always concerned about my weight. It was always a huge thing with me. I had so many problems in school, the no ends of crap from kids. And you guys know what it's like when you go to middle school, being the fat kid, and if you were overweight as well, and being picked on, and it's just no ends of crap. And I always had stuff like that in elementary school, in middle school. Middle school was the worst. Just looking at it now, seeing that I can get to like a normal weight, I sometimes wish I could go back and like not have to have gone through it the way I did. And I want to talk a little bit too about now how it's coming back in the same way as it was in middle school. From some people online. I'm going to talk about that as well. Some very weird things that have happened from what I've done. And I'm going to talk about that as well. But basically, though, June 2014, I was going to the Del Mar Fair, and basically, the day after the fair, I went home, and then I was, basically I went to the movies that night. I was seeing 22 Jump Street. I remember exactly what I was seeing, and I got, I was in the theater. Something was very wrong with me. I was feeling really strange, really out of it. I was really almost like delirious. I didn't really know what was going on. I was really hot. I remember when I got up from the seat to leave the theater when the movie was over, I had never had things spinning so bad in my life. I'm never somebody who really drank ever, but like the times that I did, I never got to that, that super dizzy. This was like dizzy to the point I couldn't even believe it. I was sweating profusely. I remember I had to drive home and with my brother, and I was really scared to drive home. My family was up, in LA at an event, but I had to, get back. And I remember like telling my mom on the phone, like I had this like feeling that I was going to die. It was I've talked about this before, but it was a very, really, really bad feeling to feel like that. I didn't know what was going on. And then I came home, took my temperature. Temperature was I think 104 104 or 105. It was the highest I'd ever seen. I was panicking. Went to the hospital, found that I had cellulitis in my leg. I went through all these tests. That was the first time that I had actually been to a doctor in years. I was avoiding the doctor like the plague. I hated going. I hated going and dealing with my weight. It was a nightmare for me. I never wanted to go. So I didn't go for a good like 7, 8 years. I just avoided it. And when I went to the hospital, that was the one time I had tests done, and they tested everything. Luckily enough, I didn't have diabetes. That was like the one huge bullet that I dodged. I think I would have reversed it if I did through what I've done, because I did have, really, really, really high blood pressure, which I totally reversed, and now it's like low. It was like, I don't know what it was, like 150 something, 7 or something. It was real, or at some points, I think it was like 160 something. It was really high. I remember when they took it when I was having the cellulitis attack, it was so damn high. But like I said, I had to go through all these tests because they did not know what was going on. So then they send me home. They think that they didn't know what it was at that point, and then it got worse. The thing on my leg started to kind of swell up and get this terrible rash. And of course, I had to go back to the hospital the next day. They admitted me overnight. I had to stay in there. That whole experience creeped me out so bad. And I was in there getting these weird visions and things like that of having a heart attack and like going and being back in the hospital again, like on my deathbed because of the weight. And after that, I was there. That was all it was. It was like a snap. It was like all of a sudden, I'm like, I am not going to be fat anymore. I'm done with this shit. Okay, I know in the past I did a lot of movies and things like that as the heavy guy. Luckily enough, I've been doing things now as not the heavy guy. Like the last movie I did and a couple other things I've done recently, I've not. And to me, I don't mind not doing the fat guy role anymore because I did that for a long time, did a lot of movies like that, and I'm done with that. Like, to be honest with you guys, I'm through being the fat guy. I'm never going to go back to the fat guy again. That's why I've taken the weight as low as I have, is because I don't really want to have anyone be able to call me fat again. And I have put up with it for so long, and I know you guys out there who have been heavy as well, you know what it's like. You don't like it. You don't like it at all, and you don't want to go back to it. And that's the way it is now with me, is I don't want to go back to it. But it is very strange now with people, because before I, lost the weight, people used to always leave comments and say, you're going to die before you're 40, you're going to have a heart attack, it's too bad you're not going to be around too long, all these kind of things. Now I've lost the weight, and it's interesting to see how people move on to other things. Now they've moved on to take your hat off, who you fooling. They've moved on to, your living situations, or, oh, no one ever wants to date you. And it's interesting to see how things can go from this to that to this. It's kind of like, what can we find next? So I want to say that to a lot of you guys out there. Oh, I guess know that just because you accomplish one thing doesn't mean certain people are not going to come to find you something else wrong. And that's sort of what I've learned lately. Me and Brendan have both kind of dealt with that, with comments and people leaving, especially on Brendan's. People said to him, you were better fat before. I like you better fat. People said that to me as well. And that's a very strange thing. And if you know anybody in person, for God's sakes, don't ever say that to them, because I don't think that person will ever speak to you again, probably for the rest of your life. And they will probably cut you out of their life more than you ever can imagine. Because that is the worst thing you could ever say to somebody, to say, you were better before, you were better fat, you were better when you were about to die. Because that's what it was. I was going to die if I kept on doing what I was doing. If I kept on eating like that and kept on gaining weight the way I was, I feel like I would be dead now. I don't think I would have made it past the cellulitis attack, and I think something else would have happened. And I think that if I didn't have the wake-up call, and I truly believe that I would not be alive now. And I'm dead honest with you guys. I felt like me and Brian used to talk on the phone and say, well, if we sleep through the night, because I had terrible sleep apnea, that's gone away. I used to wake up in the middle of the night gasping for air. And that's the thing, is when you guys do this, if you guys, who are interested in losing weight as well, if you have problems like that, it all goes away. All the problems that you have can vanish, and it can get so much better. The waking up, gasping for air, all that kind of stuff, going up steps and feeling like you're about to drop dead because things start to spin, and can't get your breath for 10 minutes. I remember one place when I went up all these flights of steps, I could not get my breath for 10 minutes. I used to, like, if I would have to bend down, pick something up, I would, like, things would get dizzy, and it would be like really bad. And that's the kind of stuff that you go through. But I started, like I said, after the cellulitis attack, that's what made me decide to finally, do this and finally stick with it. And what I first started doing was, and sorry if I'm getting into all this stuff, but this is really the way I feel. This is really what happened. And I just want to talk about all this because I think it's all important to just get it all out there, all the kind of stuff that people say and everything, because this is like my final big video of this. There may be more weight loss videos, maybe if I, with weight loss, like with weightlifting kind of things and that kind of stuff. But for this kind of thing, this is my big last talk about all of this. I'm sure there'll be other kind of things in the future, but this is the one I really just want to get everything out there. Like I said, though, that was when I first decided to do it. So then the day after the hospital, the day I get home, the very same day, or the next morning, I end up going to my doctor, and then I talk to him about everything, and he's kind of looking at me like he doesn't know if I can do it, how I'm going to do. But he could tell that I was very serious about it. Gave me a good talk. After we talked a while, then he could tell that I was really serious about this, and I was going to stick with this, and I was going to make this happen. And then after that, I started trying to adjust everything. I started trying to figure out exactly what I was going to eat and how I was going to change things up. So I first started going places, kind of trying to get the better items, the less calorie things. And I did that for about a week or two. Then I started heavy-handedly with the counting calories. I would take little notes and I would write down I basically would just go online, go on websites and things like that. And I would write down, look up places that I went, and it started being a lot of Panera Breads or Subway or Jersey Mike's. I would get like the sub in a tub, and I would be eating 1,500 calories a day, and I would write down every single thing. I would not, everything that I did, no matter what was written down. People have asked too if I drank soda. The very first month or so, I had like one soda a day, and then I think it was July of 2014 or August 2014, after I had been doing this for about a month, I was in the one place getting a soda, and I'm like, you know what? I don't need these anymore. I don't need this soda anymore. The amount of calories that is. It's not adding anything. All it is all the sugar. I can get caffeine in other ways, in the powder stuff you put in drinks. There's other ways of getting caffeine than having to have, 160 calorie drink or whatever that is with all the sugar and all that kind of stuff. So I, have fully cut out sodas, and have still cut out sodas. But I basically, though, started doing that, started writing down everything, counting the calories, doing 1,500 calories a day. The very beginning, too, to get off the first about 50, 60 pounds, I was swimming laps. I was going to the pool every single night, and I would swim for about an hour, and all I would do was just swim back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So if you guys have any gym or anything like that, it's the best investment you could make for your life is to just, even, because you can get some of them, I think they're like $10, $20 a month, something like that, in the YMCA, places like that. And I would just that's where I first started. So if you guys are like 450 pounds or around that, or like very heavy, that's the best way to start is laps. It first gets off the original amount of weight. Then I started moving to the gym, and I was doing the treadmill. And, I'm still continuing to do the treadmill now as well. I'm doing it, this pretty much the same as I was then, but some adjustments. But what I would do was do the treadmill, and I wasn't ever going fast. I would use like a 2.8 speed to 3 at the highest, and I would use the incline and gradually go up and up and up. And now I go up really high, and I go like a 23.5 height, and I do that for like 80 minutes now. I usually burn like 1,500 calories now doing that. I was, though, when I was really heavy doing the treadmill, when I first started, when I was like 405, that's I think the weight I got to when I first started doing it, I was burning like 2,300 and 2,400. I was doing a lot, and I remember I was only eating 1,500 calories a day, so there was a deficit. There was a big deficit of the calories and things like that, but I was all right. But in the very beginning, you got to take it very slow. You got to move up little by little with the treadmill, and you can eventually get to the point when you have a very high incline, but you don't need to run. A lot of people have that thing like you got to run. That's the only way you can do it. That's not the case. You really do not have to run on there and get yourself all out of breath. It can be dangerous too. Even now, I don't think I could run like that. I doubt that I would be able to do that. But that was pretty much what I did. And, I was just continuously doing that, counting the calories, looking at everything I was. And the thing is, you don't have to go to out to get food. You can get the 40-calorie bread. You can get a little weight thing to measure the weight of things, and like a food scale, and it weighs out the ounces of turkey meat. You can make your own sandwiches if you go to take to work. You can get soups and things like that. Progresso soups that are 160 calories. It can all be done very easily, and you can just plan it out. Just like that. Everything can be carried out. That's the most important thing. Just don't go into it eating bags of things or go, I'm just going to eat this. Like, just try, if you really want to do it, to count the calories. That's all it takes. And don't panic about eating things like bread or some of that kind of stuff, because to be honest with you guys, throughout the entire time I had bread, the entire time I lost 256 pounds eating bread. I lost 256 pounds eating pasta here and there. It's all the calories. That's it. There's no other trick behind it besides the calories, making sure things are low fat, not super fatty things. Cut out the fried foods. Because like I say too about the calories, make smart choices. Don't eat like pieces, because I go, oh, I have 1,500 calories a day, I'm gonna eat an 800-calorie cake. You could do that, but that would not be a smart decision, because then you'd have hardly anything left to eat the day, because you'd use it all up on a piece of cake. I mean, you could do it, like I said, but I wouldn't recommend it. Just like, just don't have fried chicken and that kind of stuff, because that's what wasn't what I was doing either. It was all low-fat things. Of course, though, from the drastic weight loss, it seems to happen to everybody. The doctor said too, good percentage of people get gall stones, which means if I have anything too fatty, you get like that real pain. Eventually I'll have to have the gallbladder removed, but I don't really like surgery, and I don't really want to have to deal with it. At some point I will. You just have to be very careful. I've only had an attack like maybe 2 or 3 times, and very sporadic, because I'm really careful on things. If you want to have butter, use like the yogurt butter and things like that. But like I said, now, throughout this whole journey, now I've gotten to the point where I have to kind of maintain. And I'm still losing weight, even though I'm eating more. I'm trying to eat like 2,300, 2,400. I'm trying to, shake things up. I get yogurt now, frozen yogurt, probably like 8 ounces or so. It's usually like 200 something calories. And you can get it to be the fat-free yogurt at like places like Menchie's or Yogurtland. Those are some of the kind of newer things that I've been eating lately. And that's fine to have. Even during the beginning of this, I could have had this, but I didn't. Now I have it more often. But now, like I said, it's more about me having to maintain the weight. And don't worry, I'm not going to gain the weight back. I do feel like I have the slight thinner thing going on, where I have to figure out exactly how I can stop losing weight. Because I really, as of now, I'm starting to kind of feel a little bit small. And like I need to move into more weightlifting and things like that. Like I said, I don't really like the way my arms look a little bit, so that's the reason why I don't really want to do the weightlifting. I'll do it, but I'm also worried about hurting myself or doing it wrong. So mainly the weight loss was the pool originally, and then the treadmill. I'm going to talk too about some of the questions that I got too. Like what they said, like one was like, what was your weight goal? And like I said, now this is pretty much my ultimate goal, is to have gotten to 200 pounds. Do you care about building muscle? Are you going to lose as much fat before you start to lift, or start right away? Like I said, I am going to start doing weightlifting soon, and probably in the next actually couple days. And I will probably do some videos of that eventually, and you guys can tell me some certain things to do. Hopefully one day I'll do weightlifting with John the Flickster, because he's, the muscle man, like out of Arnold Schwarzenegger look these days, and he would be able to really give me the tips. Just 1 and 2, is it good to drink pop or not to drink pop? Drink soda and stuff. And like I said, I think that's a good thing to cut out. If you can, use the packets that are 10 calories, like the tea packets, give you a little caffeine, and that's a good thing to do, is to really cut that out. And then he says, I'd like you to bring up how you deal with not seeing results. I've been working out for the past 2 months and have not been seeing incredible results. I do at least 40 minutes of cardio a day, and I've lost over 40 pounds, but I still look essentially the same. The thing is, though, that's a condition, though. I have the same thing where it's like body dysmorphic disorder. You don't always see yourself as different. It's other people that do. I would suggest, too, to get smaller, tighter clothes. That can kind of help yourself see yourself. Like lately, all of a sudden, I'm starting to, but it's taken me a long time to really see the difference, and to actually, even now, I still have these certain days I'm like I'm fat. It's a real fucked up thing. It's a condition, and it's hard to get to the point where you feel like that. And I will say, too, in the beginning, when I was first starting, when I was trying to get, when I bought a scale and I was trying to get it to work, because the starting weight was like 400 pounds, and I wasn't working for the first like month or so. I had some bad days. I remember, I almost broke the scale because I threw it down. I was really pissed. I mean, it was like, it's hard. It's a tough thing, going through it with being that heavy and seeing the scale still not being under 400 pounds. I was like, what do I weigh? Because I didn't know how to get weigh myself then, because I couldn't go anywhere and do it. So I know what that's like. It's just, it's a tough thing. What do you think? What did you used to think of fit people when you were overweight? Has your weight loss influenced your love life? Or it says love live. Is there one fatty or sweet food that you miss a lot? I really don't miss anything real fatty. Like I said, if I want something sweet, I go and get like the yogurt. That's like the lifesaver for me, to get something different and something like that I actually like. And that, and these peanut butter and jelly sandwiches that I make with PB2 powder. You can get it at Walmart, which is basically peanut butter powder you mix with water, and it's only 45 calories for the serving of that. And I use this Smucker's jelly that's mixed with honey, and that's kind of like the thing I make. And I make like 200-calorie peanut butter and jelly sandwiches that I usually take when I go to the movies. But they said though, what I used to think of fit people. I used to kind of like not always like thick, people that were thin and things like that, and people that were going to the gym and stuff like that. So I kind of had like a weird thought about it. Now it's like I can't imagine not going to the gym. Like, I'm gonna keep going. I really am. It's important for me to, even though I know I can remain the weight without going. I feel better when I go. I also, I'm one of those kind of people that's a bit of an insomniac. It actually helps you sleep better when you actually get your body moving to that point of, doing that kind of exercise. It helps you sleep a lot. So I'm definitely going to keep doing that. Has your weight influenced your love life? Well, I'm looking. I say the weight before influenced it by having nothing happen, because I had no confidence whatsoever. I had no fucking confidence. I was going to, I couldn't go to fucking do anything. I couldn't sit in a restaurant booth without I couldn't fit in the booth. I couldn't go to restaurants. I had to pull up a chair. I couldn't go to theme parks and go on anything. So that's why if you say, oh, why you always go to these theme parks and go on these rides and stuff, because I couldn't fucking do it since I was like 13 or 14 or something. So it's been years and years that I was not able to do things. So now I can finally do it. That's why I was going to the water parks, and that's why I'm going to continue to go to theme parks and all that kind of stuff, because now I can finally do it. Do you ever cook your own food? Yeah, I make some stuff like rice and like certain noodle things. Nothing major. I like turkey sandwiches and stuff like that. I don't eat anything elaborate. I don't eat anything really buttery. I kind of eat like a doomsday prepper a little bit. It's like a lot of the same stuff, but it's fine for me and it works. And I really don't have the love of food like I used to, so it doesn't really matter to me anymore, to be honest. Have you lost friends or become isolated due to your massive achievement? Not really. Some people say, oh, Sean and Brendan are having fights over people and things like that. There's nothing going on. We talk on the phone probably every single day of the week, to be honest with you guys, or like every other day. Sometimes things come across like that on videos. That's video, you know what I mean? Sometimes it's just kind of, busting each other's chops or making jokes and stuff like that, or being sarcastic. That's sort of just both of our humor. But no, there really hasn't been any major isolations or anything like that. Can you talk specifically how long you work out? Like I said, I usually work out for about an hour and 40 minutes now. I was doing it before about 2 hours. And in the very beginning too, when I first started going to the gym, I would do the treadmill an hour, then the pool an hour. Can you talk? The other one is, are you still counting calories? Pretty much, yes. I think I'm very OCD and very compulsive and obsessive, to be honest. So I don't think I'm ever going to not be able to count calories and not, in the back of my mind, be doing it. So I'm always pretty much paying attention to everything that I eat, really pretty much to a T. I don't need to do it as much, yes, I know that, but I still do it. I still find myself paying attention to it, thinking about it in the back of my mind. So I think I'm always going to keep doing that. And I'm always going to still get on the scale too, to make sure the weight is staying around the same. Like I said, now it's the challenge of me trying to figure out how to make it stop. I need to figure out exactly how many calories I can eat to stay exactly where I am. and have it not change. Did I see it go up or anything? Because, you know, you have to also be aware, too, if you weigh yourself in the morning after, if you take a Duke or something like that, you know, because that can add weight. So don't panic, because you can have, if you drink too much water or something like that, it can add a lot of weight. So you have to weigh yourself at the right times. And when was the last soda you had? Like I said earlier in the video, it was August of 2014 was the last soda. So that's all for this weight loss journey video. Like I said, guys, thanks so much for all the support throughout this entire journey. I tell you, I cannot tell you how much I appreciate this and how supportive you guys have been throughout this entire journey. And if you guys have any questions for, you guys who are going on a weight loss journey, let me know. But I tried to, in this video, address as much stuff as I could, that I've gone through and all that kind of stuff. Thanks again, guys, for watching and subscribing. If you guys enjoyed this too, definitely share this video around. Put up on Facebook. Share it to anybody you know that wants to lose weight or that you might be interested in this video. If you guys know of any weight loss groups or any places like that that might like it, definitely post this on there, because I would love to see what they thought about the video and how I did it and things like that, and hear how you guys have done it as well if you guys have been losing weight. Anyway though, guys, thanks again for watching and subscribing, and I'll see you guys later.